Thank you.
Can I be on and be watching at the same time?
I think so.
Huh?
Yep. All right, we're about to get it on. 5.
So you're putting it on
Showtime TV page. Yeah. All right, here we go. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Showtime TV. I'm your host, Omar Rashada. Welcome to Showtime TV Community Issues edition. We have the Delaware Caribbean Coalition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on this evening. And please welcome and being a guest on today's program.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
All right, good evening.
Good
So
evening.
what I want each and one of you to do, we'll start off with Mr. Grant. Just say who you are, what position that you hold in the organization, and then also I want to know why did you get involved with the organization? We'll start off with Mr. Grant.
Yes, I'm Thomas Nan Grant. My natural country of birth is Liberia, West Africa, and I'm a resident of the state of Delaware for good old 27 years now. I am the president of the current president of DACC. I had to say the second president since the forming of the organization. And I'm also one of the original founders of the organization. And the reason why I became a part of the organization is to see how we of people of African descent and those of us who are within the diaspora, particularly in the state of Delaware, some of us were born here in Delaware and a good number of us came here and Delaware had become our home because we became adults in Delaware, to see how we can take our new found language, our new found environment, and also impact our brothers and sisters from where we come. That's one of my primary reasons of joining the organization in initial stage. Now that I have been able to be lifted, to see how I can stretch my hands and uplift others, most especially across the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, Brother Haji.
First of all, thank you very much, Brother Omar, for having us this evening. Good evening again, one more time. My name is Haji Dukure. I'm originally from Gambia in West Africa. Gambia is actually well known for Kunta Kinte. Every time you say Gambia, nobody really knows where it is. It's a very small country in the middle of Senegal, but home of Kunta Kinte. Been a resident of Newcastle County for over 10 years. I currently serve as the Vice President of Delaware African Caribbean Coalition, and I also represent the coalition as the Commissioner on the Delaware African Caribbean Affairs Commission formed by the Governor of the state of Delaware. Prior to that, I served 2 circles as political chairman of the Delaware African Caribbean Coalition, 2 election circles. I joined the organization to help bring us together as a community. I believe we have a lot to give as people, whether locally or across the ocean to Africa or the Caribbeans. So, and I joined like-minded people who have the same interests of helping our local community and our community abroad. And once again, thank you for having us.
All right, no problem. You're welcome. Dr. Eunice.
I believe I was on mute. Thank you again, Brother Omar, and thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. So I am Dr. Eunice Gwamisia. I am originally from the cornfields of Cameroon in West Africa. I have lived in Delaware for 26 years in Kent County, and I am serving currently as the Chair of Education and Culture Committee for the Delaware Africa Caribbean Coalition, as well as the Chair of the Kogi State Project that we have ongoing at the moment. And reason why I joined the DACC is I was looking for an organization that would allow us to promote our culture, because Delaware, for those of you who do not know, has over 250 immigrants from a variation of backgrounds and race and ethnic backgrounds. So I was looking for an organization that will allow us as immigrants to push not only to build our communities or make them inclusive, but to really find a venue where we could teach others within our state and maybe around the nation how we can build those inclusive cultures and be one person, keeping in mind that we are all of the human race. And if we start with that awareness, we can really be more united and stop the divide. And I believe that DACC has really done well with managing that aspect of the organization, really building connections, building partnerships. And we even hosted the very first annual celebration of cultural heritage in collaboration with the Delaware Art Museum. So I can say that some of my reasons have been met, or the goals for reasons why I went in have been met. So thank you so much. And I look forward to this conversation.
Okay, and we're going to get a little bit more depth in terms of the organization, but I want to ask you three. We look at America. America's probably one of the most diversified countries in the world. So I want to know. I mean, each one of you had stated where you're originally from. I want to know what brought you to the United States. I want to start off with Dr. Eunice.
Wow. What brought me to the United States? It was not in the radar by all means. And growing up as a little girl in the cornfields of Cameroon, my dad was a teacher, mom was a stay-at-home mother, but it never occurred to me or even come to my mind that I would be going abroad to study. However, at that tender age, I always wanted to be like a teacher like my father. So of course I would finish high school and enroll at the French-speaking University of Yaoundé. And because I refused to learn the French language, I flunked out of college at the age of 21. So you can only imagine the devastation, being the first of 6 children, your parents waiting on you to finish and help them raise your siblings. But I had disappointed them, which is unexpected in our culture, especially a teacher's child. You're supposed to be at your best all the time. So right. I had disappointed them. I was overwhelmed. I saw no light at the end of the tunnel, but thank God for the parents that I had, because they gave me a second chance in life. And I was not gonna take it for granted. I'm sure some of us here have had that second chance in life and you know exactly what it means. So I never took it for granted. That would lead me to move to Canada to study dental therapy. But while in Canada, I still failed at embracing my Canadian brothers and sisters, just like I was brought to be aware of my cultural responsiveness in Cameroon by simply refusing to learn another language. So going to Canada and still failing at what I had learned at the age of 21 made me leave Canada disheartened and lonely. Going to the Washington, DC area, thinking that I would see people that look like me. But I quickly realized that that is not what I wanted. I wanted a place to call home, and I will eventually make that home in Delaware. But it was not easy any further. I still was met with transformation when I was told I could not apply for a job because of my skin color, because of my accent. And I know you're saying this is such a beautiful accent, or me being a woman. So those were the reasons. That is how I ended up in Delaware, by failing at a young age, going through Canada and coming to America because I thought I would find people that look like me.
Right. Okay, Mr. Grant.
Well, it's surprisingly for myself, United States was never on my mind, not at all, because growing up in Liberia and coming from a very humble family, and before coming to the United States, we never called it at that time a single mother, but I was brought up by a single mom. And sometimes myself, I ask the question, how can you be single? You have 9 kids. So I'm the oldest of 9 children from my mother. And as a matter of fact, the 9th child, which is my youngest brother, I said to my mom, his name is going to be Pluto because there's no other planet thereafter. And so I named him Pluto. And I told her, I said, I'm just tired, helping to take care of my siblings. Why I try to, uplift myself and what have you. So after graduating from high school, I'd be at Harris Episcopal High School in Liberia. and also being a leader at the high school there as the president of the senior class. And when I got to be there at Harris, nobody knew me. In the 10th grade, I ran to be a president. No one voted for me. I even ran to be chaplain, and no one voted for me because nobody knew me. I then raised my hand and created a position. And that's how my creativeness started. And my position I created in the class was to be the janitor of a class. And it was the first time to have a class janitor. So no one ran against me. So I became the janitor of the class, and people began to tease me. But teaching me being a janitor made me popular because many people began to know who the janitor of the class was. And so by the time I got to 12th grade, I ran for student council president, and I was not successful. I lost by 2 votes, but I became the president of the senior class and became very, very active into community service from that standpoint. Immediately out of high school, knowing that I needed to embrace my early responsibility in helping my mom with the rest of my siblings, I decided not to go to college in Liberia. I had an opportunity to go to the University of Liberia. I did not take the exam. I had an opportunity to go to Cutler University College, but I did not take the exam. I went back to where I went to elementary school, St. Philip's School in Gardnersville, and I became a teacher to teach students up to 5th grade right out of high school. And because of my activities, the founder of the school made me the vice principal for student affairs. So I brought into Gardnersville all that I learned from the big city. And at the end of that year, I was standing and the gentleman just stopped and said, "Hey, look, there's an interview, and I know you've been a salesperson all your life. You've been selling bread, you've been selling newspaper, you've been selling shoe polish. Professionally, we have an insurance company that has been opening called Insurance Company of Africa. Why do you come to the interview?" And I went to that interview, and so help me God, I was selected and became the very first insurance sales agent in the Insurance Company of Africa in Liberia. From that standpoint, I began to sell insurance as an insurance agent, and I was doing very, very well, much well. At the age of 26 in Liberia, I was able to build my first 4-bedroom house. I was able to own my first 3 cars. So my dream was not leaving Liberia, but just saying how to uplift myself, uplift my family, and doing things in the community. But then Liberia went into some chaos politically. And one day I just decided, I said, I think I want to go to America and see what's there. And blissfully, I was accepted, and I never looked back. And I brought my entrepreneurial spirit into the United States, and I've started 3 different companies. My current company is called GPN Solution, and my community service in Delaware came alive with DACC, Delaware Africa Caribbean Coalition, and there where we are today. We are building a great organization. We are building a community that can reach out to help others. And most importantly, I did not lose the value of my family. Not at all. I did not lose the value of my family. The value of my family, and many people, if you don't know today, even my wife, who and myself were met for the very first time. Just understand how I'm saying and what I'm saying. That we met for the very first time. We were in 6th grade, 6th grade at that time. And before you had smartphone, I had smart eyes, and I kept my eye and said, well, who knows what the future going to hold. But here we are in Delaware, and we are building a great organization. I'm a father of 5 young adults, and I just call it to be so blessed. And that blessing is what we are trying to take to reach to our brothers and sisters from where we come from, and our brothers and sisters within the community here in Delaware.
Okay, Brother Haji.
Thank you again, Brother Omar. Wow. I mean, to me, that's a very deep question. I mean, the reason why, if I want to sum it in one word, I'll say change direction of life. I'm actually from the Soninke people of the Gambia that are predominantly in the West Africa area. We are known to be business people. So my family, it's always been in business. And it's funny because we never believe in education or Western type education. And amazingly, Soninke people are very successful with doing very well for themselves without Western education. So when I was growing up, I actually grew up in Sierra Leone, where my father was involved in business. So I was sent to school to keep me busy, just so that I don't have too much time to idle around. And every time my parents always keep reminding me, especially my mother, that don't worry, your dad's gonna ship you back to Gambia, to the village, to the family farm, to help shape you as an adult. But it never actually materialized. I went through my life until high school. Then immediately after high school, my dad thought I should be on my own to start business. And he asked me, what do you want to do? There is some good money here. There's a capital here to start some good business. And I thought to myself, I would love to go somewhere in Africa where there's a huge human capital and there's business. So nowhere came to mind but Nigeria. Nigeria had over 200 million people. I said to myself, that's a huge market. So my father gave me some capital to start business at a very young age. I went to Nigeria and I was traveling all over Europe, into Asia. I was traveling into Hong Kong to first introduce electronic watches into Nigeria. So the business was very successful. So I had my brother and my friend who lived in the Gambia. Then it was so successful. I told them, you guys need to join me. We need to branch out. So my brother and my friend joined me, and we decided to open up shops in Togo, in Lume, Togo. My friend was there, and my brother went to Kinshasa, Congo. We opened up shops. Business was running very well. I thought very soon, at a very early age, we're going to become billionaires at the pace. All right. We ran into a hiccup, and it was just one disaster after the other. By the end of the day, when we turned around, we had less than $1,000 in our hands. I mean, we lost everything like overnight. And I just said to myself, I'm looking for a different direction in life. I'm done. I'm not doing this again. Mm-hmm. So my brother said, what you doing? I said, well, there's nothing for us to see. My mom said, hey, call your dad. I said, no, I'm not calling my dad. I'm going to find something else to do with my life. I said, well, what's the next stop? United States of America. So I left my brother. They gave me a ticket to America with $100. I still have the bag that I have. I said, look, with $100, I'm fine. After my first week, I'll figure out how to do things. So came down to America, started all over again. My plan was, now I've traveled pretty much at a very young age. Before the age of 25, I've pretty much traveled in so many places in the world, and I've almost seen it all. I'm going back home. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm going back to the Gambia. So I'm going to come to the US, equip myself with education, go to the Gambia, maybe work for the government, figure something else. So that's how I ended up in the United States. Met my wife. We started to raise a family. So the plans of going back home changed, and ended up in Delaware. Was a strategic decision to end up in Delaware. My kids were getting up to be at college going age. And my wife and I thought we needed a bigger home. She was expecting the fourth child. My oldest daughter was ready to go to university. And so we had a list of things we were looking for. And Delaware actually met all those lists. We had University of Delaware, so many other things. At the end of the day, when I turned around, I was without a job. Like, okay, we've checked off all the lists, but I don't have a job. But then again, with the help of the Lord, my company decided to increase my responsibility. So Delaware became a strategic location for me where I could travel up down to DC or New York or Philly to do my job. But in a nutshell, I don't know if that's a nutshell, I call it, that's how I ended up in the United States and the state of Delaware.
All right. So let's talk about the DACC for a moment. Mr. Grant, I'm gonna go back to you. You have two particular projects, the international and domestic projects. Talk about them.
Well, first, before I even go to talk about that, and most, I would ask our Vice President Haji and our Executive Chair, Education and Culture, to expand. I just want to just say what the premise of DACC is, and that would lead into the different projects that we are working on. The premise of the ACC, as we coined it to be, is to create a relationship between what we call and known as our state of life, Delaware, and our different African and Caribbean countries of birth in the area of education, healthcare, infrastructure, culture, and agriculture. And that's what we have been working on. And since the organization came together, some of the things that we have done. The first major international relationship that we began with is that we had a state dinner here in Delaware with the former vice president of the country of Liberia. Why Liberia? Delaware is known as the first state. Liberia is also known as the first independent African country. So it made sense to then bring the first independent country and the first state of the United States to come together. And we did that with the vice president of Liberia. And historically, it was the very first dinner that was held between dignitaries from Africa and the state of Delaware, as far as we do know it. The very next year, we then work in collaboration with AI DuPont Hospital and the country of the Gambia, where we initiated a healthcare initiative for the first lady of the Gambia in collaboration with AI DuPont Hospital. And that's a project that has been ongoing and going up to 4 years. Another thing that we did do is that for Liberia, we were able to get Liberia to become a part of the SUSI program through the University of Delaware. And that had been going on. And the next year, we were able to then interest the University of Delaware with Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire for those students to become a part of the SUSI program here in Delaware. So those are some of the projects that we have worked on, and some of the ongoing projects that we continue to work on. But the main thing is that we are living in accordance to what we put the organization together for, and the premise of the organization. For expansion, for the continuation in those areas, I would then ask, if you don't mind, Omar, our vice president, to expand on that, and then there'll be follow up by our executive chair for education and culture.
As our president alluded to, I mean, this is our state of life, Delaware. And one of the things that really concerned us was the relationship between people of color, our community, and law enforcement. So one of the things that we've done, and one of our good partner is Dr. Connie, who is the founder of the National Alliance National Alliance of Nonviolence, and she's been around since 1992. And her work is being where to forge that relationship or build a bridge between law enforcement and the community. And she's originally from Camden, New Jersey, and you know the history of Camden. And it was very, very rough. Their relationship was very rough. And she's nationally recognized, and her recognition started from President Bill Clinton. So we brought her to the state of Delaware to partner with us, to work with us, see how we can create that relationship between our community and law enforcement in Delaware. So, I mean, locally, that's some of the things that we work on. And Dr. Eunice alluded to earlier on, we've had some cultural events at the Art Museum, where we've brought the African and Caribbean culture to Delaware. And at the Art Museum, the attendance there, I think, was the biggest attendance ever of people of color or people of African descent from Africa and the Caribbean. And Thomas also spoke a little bit about the mission, AI DuPont mission. I think is one of the most successful missions overseas that we've engaged in. When the First Lady rolled out her medical initiative in Delaware, the First Lady of the Gambia, we went to different partners, and AI DuPont was one of them, and said, look, we need help. The question is, what type of help do you guys want? But we said, we don't know, we just know we need help. They did some studies, and they found out that infant mortality was extremely high in the Gambia. And so they created a program that's a worldwide program that they've been using to help other women around the world, all right, to help combat infant mortality. So they took that program to the Gambia. And as an individual myself, I tell this guy, it's very, very dear to my heart, all right, because I experienced it with my mother. Okay, my mother only has 2 children, myself and my sister. I am 15 years older than my sister. Between my sister and I, my mother went to the hospital 5 times to deliver, just to come home empty-handed. So that program was a godsend program for me personally. And it's very successful where AI DuPont goes there, they train the trainers, all right? They train medical professionals, professors, nurses, midwives, and they go to the town, train those individuals. They take the training to their community to train other people. I mean, that's just briefly some of the activities that we're doing and some of the partners. With that said, I won't continue talking along. I'll just pass it along to Dr. Eunice to expand on some of the things that we've been doing.
Thank you, Mr. President and Brother Haji. As Brother Haji just mentioned, Helping Babies Breathe program is what our partners from AI DuPont Hospital have been able to achieve in the country of the Gambia, really teaching these healthcare professionals how to revive babies who are born and having some breathing issues or cardiac issues. And they have done a phenomenal job, not only teaching, but they have also been able to provide equipment and resources for the medical professionals, community workers, and the residents of the various villages within the country of the Gambia to really help cut down on infant mortality. So with that, we are actually expanding this program to other countries. And currently we are working with Kogi State in Nigeria. We're still in conversations about that partnership and collaboration, but we will continue to focus on education, healthcare, agriculture, youth empowerment, and entrepreneurship. So outside of the healthcare sector, we will carry this particular program, Helping Babies Breathe, and maybe helping mothers survive, because infant mortality and women mortality during birth is also high in Kogi State. So that's why we're focusing on those areas. Agriculture, yes, there is some needs to really increase their number of, increased number of employment or the percentage of employment. Because if you know, for most of you watching, if you know anything about the continent, over 7 million or 70 million, I may be quoting this wrong, of unemployed people are under the age of 30. And we know how impactful that can be when it comes to the economy and opportunities. So if you have that many young people unemployed, it is just a time bomb waiting to happen. So DACC is really connecting, collaborating, and partnering with some of these countries so that we can be that bridge in between our state of life, which in this case is Delaware, and those African countries, so that we can share resources. Because one thing I always tell people, it is, there's a saying in network marketing, if you were born poor, it is not your fault. But if you die poor, it is your fault. I beg to disagree with that, because most of these people, especially in underdeveloped countries, did not do it to themselves. They did not ask to be birthed in this parts of the world. It is sometimes due to war, like Liberia experienced. My country, Cameroon, is going through that right now. A lot of people displaced in the bushes, young girls not even having sanitary towels to use, or even mothers being found in the bushes because they're running away from, war. So these people do not decide to just not have access to healthcare, access to education. It is the system that has failed them. So DACC is saying, we are fortunate to be in the developed part of the world. And so how can we give hope to those who have no hope? How can we help put food on the table to those who do not know where their next meal is going to come from? Not saying in our community here that doesn't happen. Yes, it does, but it's not as much of a scale as it is in some of the underdeveloped countries. So that is what we're doing. There's more that's going to be coming as far as the Kogi State project is concerned. We will probably be hosting a seminar conference so that we can bring business partners, colleges and universities, churches together to see how we can lock arms and really help our own and help those who do not have hope and give them hope, because that's just how we do life in Delaware.
Yeah, I want to stay with the health issue for a moment. You know, the biggest health issue right now is the COVID-19. And the organization, are you promoting, are you encouraging people to get vaccinated, or are you staying away from that topic? What is the organization stance in terms of encouraging or just not encouraging people to get the vaccine injection?
We are encouraging people to take the vaccines. We have actually done a drive and we've done a Facebook Live before where we really encourage people, especially those people from Black, Indigenous, and people of color, to take this because we all have heard it. We all have seen it on the news. We were disproportionately affected by this COVID. I totally understand some of the fears because of history, but history is history and it doesn't serve us well today. So it's either you take the COVID vaccine and do better when you catch COVID, or not take it and get really sick because of the comorbidity factors that you have. Obesity, hypertension, diabetes. Those are the things that we suffer from the most. And if we do not take the vaccine, what's going to happen when you catch the infection itself, you're bound to suffer, to be more sick than if you had taken the vaccine. And I tell people the vaccine is not going to stop you from catching COVID. You will get it, but you're not going to be as sick as you would have been if you didn't take the COVID or if you took the vaccine. So people just need to really listen. Our leaders in the communities just really need to encourage our people to go out and take this, but it's all about education, educating, making sure that we're putting the right information out there. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. Even in my own country, when I went to Cameroon in April, people saying, oh, they're giving this to us so that our girls do not have children. Where is it? Where did you find that? Yes, any medication will have a side effect, but does that mean you should not seek preventative medicine because you think they're going to stop something else from happening? You just need the education. And we all together, different community organizations within the community, really need to take the education out there and encourage everyone and any one of us to take the vaccine.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, as the doctor rightly put in it, a couple of things that you said. One of the last phases that I want to break in, that's what DACC is our slogan. We are stronger and better together. So as a people, if we take the vaccine together, well, our population will survive the epidemic that is going on right now. And this simplicity that I try to say to people is this. Well, if you take the vaccine every year for the flu, you don't know what is in there, but you take it every year to prevent you from getting the flu, or that you do not attract the flu so bad within your body, and that'll help you and help your family. Well, if you even want to discount the issue about the flu, well, you take Tylenol, you take Advil for headache. So what's you do not know what's in it, but you take it and it helps you that when that pain comes, it goes away. And also, if you look at every year it is noted that different kind of vaccine need to be taken for different reasons. And we take those vaccines. But there's certain vaccines you have to take for the kids to go to school. There's certain vaccine you have to take when you are traveling to different parts of the world. Well, you don't know what's in it, but you have that hope that by taking this, it's going to help to prevent that from happening. And if it do happen, it won't be as severe as without taking the vaccine. So we have continuously encouraged, most especially people from where we are from in our community. We talk to them about it, and we set examples. We may not go on television to show that we took the vaccine, or we may not put it on Facebook, but we as leaders, we have to set examples. So we take the vaccine to make sure that that the vaccine is going to help us from one another. And let me just relate it a little bit when I said I sold insurance. Well, one of the reasons I was successful in selling insurance to people in Liberia at the time is I told them straight up, the insurance policy that you're buying is not for you who is living. It's for those who's going to survive, those who you are responsible for, so that when you are gone, your kids, your family, your wife will be taken care of. That's one of the reasons why you are investing into this year, so that there can be a return in your absence. So this if you relate that to the vaccine, you take the vaccine so that you do not get sick from COVID. And if you do, it won't be as bad.
You know, I want to go to speak on culture, as you three talked about earlier. You know, I get so excited about interviewing a DACC because, you know, being African American, being raised in the city of Wilmington, Delaware all my life. Here's some of the things that we as African Americans used to hear about Africans. You know, we were told that they were savages. We were told that they don't care about Black Americans. We were taught to hate ourselves in terms of our physical features and our dark skin. So any one of you, I want you to talk about the significance of African Americans and those from Africa, and those from the Caribbean coming together and learning from one another in terms of uniting with one another. For example, when I went to the Delaware Art Museum, and I think it was 2019 when you had that event, because my mom died July 30th, 2019. I believe that event, she died at the age of 69. So that event was in August, about a month, maybe not even a month after she had passed. And when I went there, it kind of brought my spirits to seeing the Africans and the Caribbeans and the African Americans all coming together as one. So talk about the significance. Any one of you want to speak on the significance of us uniting as a one?
Well, we have a diversity queen who is our executive chair for
Let
education
Brother
and
Haji take
culture.
that. He was trying to speak.
Well, I will say a word or two to that when it comes to relationship of African Americans or all people of African descent. And to me, there's so many things that are so personal to me when I look at it. When I look at people of color and the origin, I mean, there's no ambiguity there. These are my people that were enslaved. So I feel that personally. In my family, there is history there that speaks of, they pretty much related to the time our people were taken in West Africa and brought across the Atlantic to be enslaved. And our people are nobles. And there's the oral tradition that still speaks to it, that the day our hometown was attacked was on a Wednesday. In my family, there's still people on Wednesday that do absolutely nothing. It's still a day of mourning for them. That's how they feel about people that was brought across the Atlantic, because that's when our people were attacked and brought over to the Atlantic. So when I look at African Americans, Caribbeans, and people of color, I'm looking at them as my blood relative, as my blood family. So it's like, then to me, family is everything, all right? They grew up in a different culture. They became different people, but blood is still thicker than water. We still need to come together as one people, because we are family.
And Dr. Eunice, one of the things that also I like about the DACC is that it was mentioned earlier that you collaborate with different organizations in getting the work done. So how significant is it for the DACC to work with other organizations, whether it be August Quarterly, when I saw Mr. Grant at August Quarterly, that's how we got to organize this program, or just working with AI DuPont Hospital and some of the other organizations?
Well, you know, since we're talking about culture and diversity, we all are very unique in our perspectives, right? So is every organization. Every organization has a goal and a purpose. So within each organization, we all come from various backgrounds or all walks of life. Mm-hmm. So if we truly want to get somewhere, we're going to have to tap into everyone's perspective or ideas so that we are having a variety. And I often use the analogy of the salad bowl versus a melting pot. We have been taught in the past, America is the melting pot, but I see it from the lens of a salad bowl. Why? Because in a salad bowl, if you think about it, the salad bowl has a variation of ingredients, different textures, different colors mixed with the green lettuce, right? And each ingredient has a different taste. But when you put it together, it tastes beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I like to stay away from the melting pot idea, because when you use the salad bowl idea, you're coming into that pot, into that organization with your unique ideas and holding onto your foundation. You're not letting go of who you were or where you came from, but you're bringing added value. You are a culture add and not a culture fit, because we have built this mentality of organization saying, well, we didn't find someone who is a culture fit. What you're telling me is that you're doing business the same way you've always done business. It's either our way or nobody else's way. But if we think of in the sense of someone bringing that culture add, then we would seek all these organizations who have something different than what we have. They have value to add to what we're doing. So why not bring them in with the understanding that we're going to be more innovative, we're going to be more creative when we have all these other ideas coming in from other organizations, either because they have the lived experience, they've done something better than we have done, but now we can partner together and learn from each other's mistakes and even put out a more creative, innovative, and probably the best product that one company would have put together. That is why we extend our arms out in partnership with other organizations so that we're learning from each other and building those roadblocks together so that we're putting all ideas on the table. And that's where inclusion comes in, because you could go ahead and hire all the Hispanics, Blacks, and Asians into your organization when in fact you're not giving them a voice, when in fact you're not putting them on the dance floor together. You just want them to be a fit within what you've always done and not listening to them. So it's one, listening to them, two, giving them a voice and having everyone on the dance floor at the same time so that we're bringing these ideas together to create more sustainable impact.
Mr. Grant, you guys have any upcoming events? I know the venues are starting to open back up. I know COVID shut down a lot of meetings, a lot of events and all that. So do you have any upcoming events this fall or this winter?
Yes, we are planning a visitation from the country of Nigeria, the state of Kogi, that will be visiting Delaware pretty soon, most likely within the next 30 to 45 days. And then subsequently, we normally have our annual Christmas gathering. So we are also planning that. That will be coming up between now and December. But the main event is going to be the visitation from the folks from Kogi State, which I would like Dr. Eunice to expand on a little more if she wants to.
All right, thank you. So this visitation, we actually just paid a visit to Kogi State in July, and on invitation by the governor of Kogi State, to see how we can partner in the areas of education, healthcare, agriculture, and youth entrepreneurship and empowerment. So they're giving us a return visit so that we can finalize those conversations and get to work for better upliftment of the people of Kogi State.
And just to add to that,
go ahead.
Just to add to that, the sequence of events that DSCC have done since the year 2021 is that the first thing we did in the month of February, we had an honorary program at AI DuPont Hospital where we honored Dr. Raab, we honored the Lieutenant Governor of Delaware, we also honored the county executive. And that program was graced with the ambassador for the country of the Gambia and his wife for that program here in Delaware. We immediately followed that after with a team of medical professionals, including Dr. Rob and a representative from DSCC, including our vice president, Haji, that made a trip to the Gambia in carrying out the mission that we have there in the Gambia. The First Lady medical vision that is being carried out in the Gambia. Upon the return, then we got the invitation from Nigeria. So we had a team of 5 that went to Nigeria, specifically Kogi State and Abuja. Those were the 2 states that we visited within Nigeria and had a series of meetings there. at the time. Upon our return, DACC then had a service program at Kenner Baptist Church, where DACC were asked by Providence Baptist Church in Liberia, which is the very first church in Liberia. It is known as the birth of the Republic of Liberia, that was founded by Lakere, who came out of Virginia and went to Africa because his mother asked him to go back to Africa and find a place to make his home. He first went to the Sherbro Island, which is in Sierra Leone. For one reason or another, he then kept on traveling until he got to Liberia and found this little piece of land that's called Providence Island now in Liberia. Thereafter, he founded the first church in Liberia, the Providence Baptist Church, and they were celebrating their 200 bicentennial. They reached out to DACC and said they wanted to work with DACC and see how DACC can partner with them to expand this celebration. And we were able to connect them with Kenner Baptist Church, the Reverend Dr. Christopher Bullock and the congregation while they accepted DACC. And matter of fact, a pronouncement was made there that it was the 15th of August every year is known as DACC Day. And there was a great commitment that was done whereby the Kenner Baptist Church made a significant contribution towards education through DACC in Liberia at Lakere Mission, and also that the Providence Baptist Church has said we should be another program we may come on your show with if possible to talk about that upcoming university that is going to be built in Liberia in honoring the late president of Liberia, William Richard Talbot. So you can see the sequence of events that DACC have taken upon since the year 2021, and we still have more months in 2021. So our doors have always open. They continue to be open, and we'll always leave the lights on for those who are willing to come in, because DACC as an organization is not for no one person. It's for all those who would like to put hands together to uplift others. As you can look at right now, you have 3 members of DACC, myself speaking from Liberia. We have our vice president from Sierra Leone. We have our executive chair from Cameroon, and we have you, Oman, from the United States. That's what DACC is comprised of people of different backgrounds to make a wholesome community. And I know one of the things that I've always heard from Dr. Eunice that quoting back from what former First Lady Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village. And here is a little village. And sometimes people say to me, hey, what do you think? You think you cannot be a one-man forest. But I remind them on one thing. Every forest begins with one tree.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brother Haji, there are those who are watching, may be interested in joining the DACC. What's the criteria? How do they join?
Our criteria is very simple, but before I get into the criteria, I think we'll be missed if we don't mention what the work that we do with Haiti right now. We have a committee that will form in DACC to help our brothers and sisters in Haiti through the earthquake that just happened there. So we have the midst of working with nurses organizations that are based out of New York. So we're partnering with them because they have ships and stuff that go directly to Haiti. So I just don't want to miss that point. Okay. Now coming back to the criteria, our criteria is very simple. You're of African descent, you're a member of the DACC. You probably didn't register officially, but we consider you a member of the DACC, right? And anybody that shares the same interest as us, and if you feel you're doing something that you could partner with, regardless of what your race is, you can always join the DACC and work with us. Okay,
I'm going to give each and one of you about a minute to have any closing comments. For those who are watching, I'm going to start off with Dr. Eunice. You have about a minute of any closing comments that you want to add.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omar, for having us. And I just want to leave you with this. In anything and everything you do, you must stand for something. If you do not stand for something, you will fall for everything and anything. So just go out. That success that you have achieved, just continue to inspire and elevate others. And together we are stronger.
Mr. Grant?
Yes, the one thing is, since I was elected this year as the leader of the organization, I thought and what to speak about. But one four-letter word came to mind, and I try to use that all the time. It's called hope. HOPE, hope. Help others prosper everywhere. Hope. Help other people everywhere.
Brother Haji?
Thank you again, Brother Omar. We are people that gives. Naturally, people of African descent are very giving people, and we are blessed. So we feel that we're in a position here where we need to give back to other people, stretch our hands out to reach out to other people. Where I came from in Africa, we always laugh that we do not have homeless people. Because even if you have one bedroom, a relative or a friend or a neighbor, you'll have them share your one bedroom, then sleep out on the street. So hence there's no homelessness. And we recognize what we have. Living in the state of Delaware, living in a country like the United States, we do recognize what we have. We know we have to give back. I mean, it could be as simple as saying a kind word to somebody or smiling at someone, but we do have a lot to give back. So we are in a position and we're looking for people like mine who are willing to give their time, their effort, their talent back to humanity. And I want to thank you again.
Dr. Eunice, I want to go back to you real quick before we end. In terms of the education piece, does the ACC, do you go in different communities and promote them to go to college, universities, or if they're not interested in college or universities, pursue a trade?
Honestly, we have not gone into our local communities to educate and advocate for education.
Okay.
However, our education initiatives are really focusing on the continent of Africa and the Caribbean, where we link up universities and colleges for student exchange programs, or like the SUSI program that Mr. President spoke about earlier, and also doing some training in the continent as well, whether it's CPR, whether it's nursing assistant training, pharmaceutical type assistant training. So anything in vocational type of education or,
Gotcha.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So.
awesome. And Mr. Grant, just two more quick questions. If you could leave your website, what's the website, the address, the contact information for those who want to contact you or those who want to join, and then also the ACC, are you looking to expand? Or are you in other cities or other countries? You have chapters in other places?
Yes, our web address is daccde.org. That's www.daccde.org. Yes, we are open and hoping to expand, even though we say Delaware Africa Caribbean Coalition. So sometimes people say Delaware, that means you're just in Delaware. No, but we are doing work not just in Delaware, but outside of Delaware, and in different countries. But the very first time we were able to appoint a liaison for DACC in the country of Nigeria because of our work that we are doing there. We are looking forward to also appointing liaison in the different countries that we are doing some collaboration with those countries, and we are also looking forward to seeing how people who are not living in the state of Delaware who want to become a part of DACC, how they can become a part of DACC. We have a full membership and we have associate membership, but we are looking into to see how we can bring those associates, most especially those outside the state of Delaware, to see how they can become full membership. We also do have a meeting once a month, the very first Saturday in every month from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we do our very best to stay within that time frame.
Okay, so is that online meetings through Zoom?
Yeah, because of the COVID right now,
Okay,
we do meet on Zoom, but previously before COVID, we used to meet in person.
Okay, got you. All right, I'd like to thank all three of you for being guests for tonight's show. You were all awesome. I really support DACC and the hard work and dedication you do for the community. For those who are watching, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Showtime TV. Please like, subscribe, and share. All right, thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Good night.